Surprise, surprise. Once again, someone has compared men and women playing sports and their hidden sexism has come out. It's worse when such things come from a woman, and it's even worse when they're from the tournament director herself. Amelie Mauresmo, the French Open director's comments have stirred up some serious trouble. Let's take a look at what the fuss is all about. First up, women's tennis has less appeal. Former female world number one. Yeah, the irony of that statement isn't lost on us. Not so long ago, Amelie Mauresmo was the world number one in the WTA and has won 2 majors, including her Wimbledon triumph in 2006. She currently serves as the director at Roland Garros, and it seems as if she's not fit for the job. First, she came under fire for the poor scheduling that meant some matches in this year's French Open finished well after midnight. It's a problem because the public transport in Paris closes around 11 p.m., and the delay in scheduling wasn't justified. Then, to make matters worse, Mauresmo ended up saying that women's tennis can't match the appeal of men's matches, and that's why she couldn't find many women's matches for night sessions. It's a terrible statement from someone like Mauresmo, who herself must have experienced how uneven the landscape in sports is for women. Comments from ex-players like herself who are in a privileged position only make things far worse. In fact, it's not even true. While there's no denying that the current WTA Tour lacks some of the biggest names, but that's because they're out with injuries. Where was the same sentiment when the likes of Nadal and Federer missed out on many tournaments due to injuries? It's unfair to say that women's tennis is less appealing, and it's certainly not true. Next, WTA is more appealing. If anything, we believe that the WTA is more appealing than the ATP. First, there was a lot of criticism on the WTA that it's been dominated solely by Serena Williams, and it doesn't make sense to watch the games when you know that she's going to be winning every slam and tournament on the calendar. That's so hypocritical. The ATP, on the other hand, has been dominated by the Big Three since the mid-2000s. We're in 2022, and they're still winning slams. How can you possibly say that it was less appealing when Serena was dominating? But let's say for argument's sake that this notion is true. It's still contradictory. Serena hasn't won a slam since early 2017, and since then we've seen the WTA scene being so volatile that first-time teenagers have won slams, and it's been super chaotic. If that doesn't make for a wonderful viewing, then what does? Our simple question is, what would you rather see? A sport where you know who's going to win every tournament, or a sport dominated by upsets and underdogs? In fact, talking about domination, Rafael Nadal won his 14th Roland Garros a few days ago. That means he's won it 14 times in less than 2 decades. How is that more appealing than the WTA, where you can't bet for sure who'd win? It's insanity. Again, though, for argument's purpose, we can say that people like Mauresmo like order and prefer that to the chaotic tendencies of the WTA. She'd still be hypocritical because the 21-year-old Iga Swiatek is bringing a lot of order to women's tennis, and her domination this year has been unmatched. So it's just a lazy comment from Mauresmo, and she's got nothing to back it up with. And now, Swiatek disappointed by Mauresmo's comments. The world number one and the winner of the 2-time Roland Garros winner Iga Swiatek revealed her disappointment and surprise at Amelie Mauresmo's comments. We can understand Iga. It's always worse when women themselves can't back up the achievements and look down upon the progress women are making. Despite the comments, which would have angered many other players, Swiatek's response was very measured and humble. She said that it's down to what people prefer, and she believes that it's more appealing to watch the unpredictability of women's tennis. This is very modest from Swiatek, who knows that her domination this year has been something the WTA hasn't seen in more than a decade. It's not unpredictable at all, and has been amazing to see. The Polish star has been producing high-quality tennis, and some of the matches she played were a treat to watch. There were many advantages possessed by the WTA, in Swiatek's view, and we couldn't agree more with her. She has every right to be disappointed with the comments made by Mauresmo, and the director should have known better, especially considering she's experienced the highs and lows of the WTA. Lastly, Mauresmo apologizes. Well, at least Mauresmo did apologize for her comments. That's obviously the first step to redemption, and it's good that she's understood that her statement was unfair and definitely wrong. We wouldn't go on to say that her apology was very well done because it was the usual, "oh, my comments were out of context" type of stuff, and that's even worse. Just straight up say that you're wrong. You made a mistake, you saying sorry, move on. Well, let her slip slide this time because she did apologize to the players directly, and that's worth something at the end of the day. The likes of Iga, Coco Gauff, etc. put on some fantastic displays throughout the tournament, and they certainly don't deserve to be told that it wasn't appealing enough. We loved your performances, girls, and we can't wait to see you in action again. Next, in other news, Swiatek to miss German Open. Well, it seems that lifting trophies every week can't be good for your shoulders. Swiatek has said that she'll be missing the German Open due to a minor shoulder injury as she looks to recover ahead of Wimbledon later this month. Plus, we think it's kind of her to do this because this might be the only way some other players get a chance to win a couple of tournaments. After all, the kind of form Swiatek's in, it's hard to look past her for a probable winner in any tournament that she participates in. We're set to see the world number one in action next in Wimbledon, but it won't be a straightforward win for her because her domination of the WTA has, so far, come on the hard courts and the clay courts. The sudden switch to grass can be terribly hard to master, and it took the likes of Federer, Nadal, and Djokovic many years before they finally did. If Swiatek can successfully make the switch and somehow win Wimbledon this year, she might just truly be unstoppable. One thing's for sure, we won't be betting against her. And now, ATP considering restoring ranking points for Wimbledon. Andrea Gaudenzi, the president of ATP, has revealed that they could consider restoring ranking points for Wimbledon under one condition. The condition hinges on the ban of Russian and Belarusian players. If it's lifted, Gaudenzi suggests that the ranking points will be restored for Wimbledon. Talking to the media, the president spoke about how it's unfair and damages the integrity of the ATP if there are ranking points awarded without the inclusion of Russian and Belarusian players. As of now, players from those two countries have been banned from taking part in the biggest tournament on tour because of the ongoing war in Ukraine. While many Russian players have revealed that they're against all sorts of war and violence, they've still been barred from playing in Wimbledon starting later this month. That affects the ATP majorly because Daniil Medvedev, the current world number 2, could potentially become the world number 1 with a good performance in Wimbledon. Similarly, another Russian player in the top 10 is Andrei Rublev, and a ban on Russian and Belarusian players would mean that some of the world's best players won't be able to participate in the tournament. Finally, Andy Murray's phenomenal grass season. While the grass season has only just begun, Andy Murray's telling everybody that he should never be written off. The Brit was contemplating retirement at one point not so long ago and was very close to it. After battling with injuries, all of a sudden, he sees himself dominating the tour with a metal hip. His best surface has always been grass, and if not for Roger Federer's domination on the greens, he could have potentially ended up with many more Wimbledon titles. As for now, though, he's been preparing for this year's Wimbledon in the best way possible. The 35-year-old took part in the Stuttgart Open and was given a super tough draw. It included beating the likes of Bublik, Kyrgios, and the number 1 seed Tsitsipas. He's made very light work of his opponents so far, as he reached the finals without dropping a single set throughout the tournament. Murray will be taking on the hard-hitting Italian Matteo Berrettini on Sunday as he looks to win his first title since 2019. It won't be an easy matchup because Berrettini is a fabulous player on grass and came within touching distance of winning Wimbledon last year, failing only to Novak Djokovic in the final. Who are you backing to win the title in Germany? That's a wrap for this video. Do you think Mauresmo's comments were out of line? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.